Clements Homebrew, coming at you with a beer review. I've got another beer today from my buddy Tyler at Everty Homebrewing. It is the Brewers Reserve Bourbon Barrel Cherry Stout from Central Waters Brewing out of Amherst, Wisconsin. This is a 10% ABV Imperial Stout. They use 75 to 80 pounds of tart Door County cherries in each oak barrel. Bourbon barrel, mind you. So, and they do that for 6 months. Man, that just sounds delicious to me. I know I've heard some mixed reviews on it, but wow, this sounds like a beauty to me. So we're gonna get this one cracked open and give it a try. Now this is the 2014 version, and we are currently in February of 2016. Now, since that would come out late in the year, my assumption is that we're looking at one that's a little over a year old. All right, well, really no head to speak of. There was some there and it just faded right away. Not always a surprise on some of these big bourbon barrel type beers. I do get the lightest bit of brown to red, so mahogany red colors on that, but it is a very dark brown, so we'll get the nose. Wow, kind of a cherry cola scent on there because I'm getting some chocolate and I'm getting kind of a cola-like scent, and I'm definitely getting those cherries. I'm almost getting kind of like a leather scent on the nose as well. I do get a little bit of like an alcohol scent, like an ethyl alcohol type scent on there as well. So there's a little bit of booziness on there. I'm not getting a lot more than that though. So a light leather, I'm getting that cherry, and I'm getting some chocolate and some booze on there. So let's just jump in. Cheers. The taste is nice. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of a flat monotone taste. I'm not trying to be a deterrent. It's a very low carbonation, so it's very just kind of smooth coming in. Not much prickling of the tongue whatsoever. And it's kind of, like a flat chocolate cherry kind of a taste. The cherries are nice though. They're a semi-sweet tart cherry, definitely. Yeah, I mean, but the cherries, they use a lot of cherries. There's no missing the cherry on this whatsoever. And I did warm this up pretty well. And even though they've used tart cherries, there's a beautiful sweetness that goes with this. There really is. So you're kind of getting someplace between a milk chocolate and a dark chocolate, kind of chocolate tones on there, along with the cherry. I still say you get a light leather type of character on it as well. I get maybe the slightest hint of some tannin from the oak, and it's very light, but it is present. Yeah, maybe just a hint of oakiness, but you get a beautiful little bit of roast on there, and you get some of the caramel on there as well. But the dominant flavor is the cherry, followed by the chocolate flavor and the leather. I'm going to take a little time with this, and I'll be back. Well, I'm back. I shared a sip with Mrs. Clements Homebrew. She was, I guess, listening to my description, said they were pretty good. So I feel very complimented by her. But yeah, I think that really follows through. It's interesting. There's a slight syrupiness to this. And yet, I want to say it's on the high end of a medium body. It's warmed up quite well. And it's really drinking well, mind you. I think what's really unique about this particular beer is that I think they put so many cherries into every barrel. I mean, they put a load. I mean, fruit dissipates over time. You lose some fruit flavors, but the cherry is so potent in this that I think that it's taken away from some of their other characteristics. While I do note, a little bit of leather and just a slightest bit of tannin from the oak, I'm sure it's there, I have no doubt, but I'm not tasting really any bourbon character. I know it's added to this from how it tastes in the blend, but I don't taste any bourbon whatsoever. Not that that's a bad thing, but you're thinking bourbon barrel aged. You think you're going to get a little bourbon character, and you don't. I think the bourbon's probably enriched those cherries and other flavors and the chocolates in it. But I kind of wonder if they don't use too many cherries, to be honest with you. Like maybe try 60 pounds of cherries, and then you'd still have plenty of cherry, and the bourbon flavors would come up. That would be my advice. Back down on the cherries a little bit. Now, otherwise though, if you just really dig cherries with some chocolate and a little bit of roast, some low carbonation, this might be the one for you. I'll tell you, it really does drink nice. Of course, I have a standard. Hair of the Dog makes Cherry Atom from the wood, and it's a beautiful beer. The 2012 I have is great, and the 16 I hear is wonderful. I'm gonna have to go down and get some. But this is a really good beer all on its own, though. There's just a lot of cherry. There's some good chocolate on there. Very, very low carbonation. But it's just a really smooth beer. It just, nothing jumps out and just grabs you. So it's a sipper. It's a great one to sip and enjoy. So ratings, how do we rate a beer like this? I think first in terms of style, as we're talking Imperial Stouts, it's going to be in the very good category, but it's not going to be in the world class or excellent as far as Imperial Stouts go. I mean, if I'm going to be honest about it, I've got to drop it into about an 87. I hate to say that. And for 10%, I will say it doesn't taste like 10%. Now, overall, it's a little different because I dig on the cherries. I think they did a beautiful job. I don't know much about the Door County cherries, but I'll tell you what, you get a light tartness, but you get a beautiful sweetness on this. They're really some nice cherry flavor coming through. But I'm not going to jump it up a whole lot. I think it's really pleasant. I'm going to go on an overall. I'm going to give it an 89. Here it is. It's the Brewers Reserve Bourbon Barrel Cherry Stout from Central Waters Brewing out in Amherst, Wisconsin. I'd say give it a try still. I'm kind of enjoying it. This is Kevin from Clement's Home Brew saying life's too short to drink cheap beer, and I'll see you on the next beer review.